reasons to attend and
I
a
think we
few
did
to
5.
not attend. We stayed to our number. See, look at that. Title.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the DevOps Round UP podcast. Today we're going to be giving you 5 reasons why to attend tech conferences, and we're going to cover a couple of reasons why maybe it's not a good idea either. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and Sean, you look great in that lumberjack.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I am a lumberjack and I'm okay. Yeah. Well, welcome to the DevOps Roundup. We'll try to keep it to 5. I don't know if we'll stop counting after 3 and just keep talking like we usually do, but we'll see how close to 5 we can come up with for events. So,
all right. So I got
I'm
my
known
different
for
helping us out here, right? So reason number 1, access to real world industry knowledge you cannot get online. I'm going to rephrase that to you get access to real people, right? That to me seems like a good reason because a lot of content is on demand, right? It's webinars. It's very passive. Yeah, tech conferences can be very passive, but you have the ability to raise your hand and ask questions.
You can talk to the presenters, especially after or between sessions. You can network with the other attendees, and often that's where the real knowledge is. You mingle with people, find out why they're here for the conference, what their expertise is, and you build your network.
Yeah. My favorite scenario in this kind of theme here is I have a question or somebody across the room has a question on a configuration that they've been, fighting for weeks. And somebody's like, oh yeah, we had that problem 6 months ago. Have you tried this? Or have you tried that? And instant, holy moly, that saved me weeks of just Googling stuff.
Well, you run back to your hotel real quick and start implementing that solution. Yeah.
Yeah, because chances are you're not reinventing the wheel with most of the problems you have. But there is a certain finesse to Googling, right? And depending on how good you are at Googling, you may or may not find your solution in a short amount of time or long.
when you find a solution, you may not have time or of the thought of adding it to Stack Overflow or some website or the community website or something. So other people wouldn't be able to find it if you happen to be like one of the only ones to have that exact problem and have a solution for it.
Right. And again, you can't really, in a webinar online thing, yeah, there's like a chat, maybe if it's an open Zoom, but the intimacy and the organicness of it, it's so natural in a tech conference, just having not even the expert that's speaking, but others in the room.
Yeah.
Just worth it so much, I think.
It is. Go ahead.
And they don't even need to happen in that session, right? You can be on the way to lunch saying like, hey, weren't you in that one session? And then that whole lunch now becomes a hour-long exploration.
Well, the lunches are often, exchanging, ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. And it just becomes a big networking event.
Which you just can't get online.
You're not going to find that online. You can find it in local user groups, which are good events to go to. So when we say the top 5 reasons to attend events, we're not necessarily talking about AWS reInvent. We are, but we're not limiting ourselves to a conference of that magnitude. And for the folks that haven't had the pleasure of going to it, it is huge and exhausting.
Yeah. And I think that's a good, maybe, I don't know that we're going to mention the why not to attend, but that's a really good point to not attend conferences, right? Because it is overwhelming, especially the bigger the conference, the more massive it is, the more undertaking it is. And you kind of have to go in with a plan. You just can't show up to these larger conferences alone.
You'll have fear of missing out if you go to a big conference without a plan. Because so many things are happening at the same time, and you can only be at one place at a time. So you're going to miss something. If you go to the expo hall, you're missing out on a session. If you go to a session, you're missing out on a theater talk in the expo hall. And if you're tracking down where the snacks are, you're probably missing a session.
You're missing everything at that point. We spent an entire hour once looking for cookies that ended up being chicken.
Yes. Yeah, there was a whole hour of running around finding out where the hell these people are getting cookies at the expo, and it turned out to be chicken rolls.
The honest mistake.
Yes, we had our priorities.
But that would be, if I had to give you a reason why it's not a good idea to attend a tech conference, especially if you're sensory overload or just need that structure and organization. Like bigger conferences tend to be very, very overwhelming. However, there's smaller ones, right? There's like user group meetups. There's going to be like JFrog's was only 500 people. I felt that was the right number of people. 500.
That was I like it. It's a decent number. It'll be interesting how many are going to be in the next year's in New York City.
Yeah, we had 150 at my event, and I felt like I wanted more people, but that was just a selfishness in me. But everybody felt like it was the right amount.
No, it was a very comfortable conference. It seemed to be very easy to track people down and to have one-on-one conversations or one-on-many conversations, and it was about the right time too.
Yeah.
So conferences can be anywhere between a full week to just 1 or 2 days.
Yep. All right. Moving on to reason number 2. You build relationships with people who can change your career. And so at conferences, you have not just peers, but there's hiring managers, there's directors, there's VPs, there's CTOs, there's CEOs. The whole gamut.
I've had more employees poached at conferences than I care to remember. And if you are looking for work or expecting to expand your career beyond the company that you're at now, going to events is a great method of finding that next hiring manager, finding that next company. Especially if you speak at a conference, you typically will have people hit you up for jobs afterwards.
Yeah, so I guess if you're looking to hire people, it's a great place to go because you're going to be able to make sure they're not a bot. Because my gosh, there's so many scams on LinkedIn nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so you can
you're not paying a recruiting agency 20% of a first year salary to find your next hire.
Yeah, and then there's that lunch again, right, where you can just go and like tell me what you know.
Yeah,
very
casual. You're basically interviewing that person, and it's a relaxed setting for the most part. Again, you didn't have to pay a recruiter fee, and you get to interview the person outside of an actual interview. So you're not crossing HR rules, and you get to know the potential employee.
And it's a very different vibe than being in a like one of those recruiting days, right?
Yes.
There's a technical term for it, right? But there's a career fair. Very different vibe than a career fair because the conversations I feel happen more natural, more serendipitous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In a career fair, everyone knows why they're there. At a conference, it's a happy circumstance that someone's interested in you and might be offering you a job. So completely different vibe.
Right. Completely different, and people just it's more honest, right? People get to see who you are and things of that nature.
Yeah, and you get to see how they interact as well. So if I'm trying to hire somebody at a convention, and I'm guilty of that, they see how I'm interacting with people, and they kind of get a sense of how it would be to work for me.
Have you heard of the infamous Henry Ford dinner with the 2 interns that he hired one time?
I probably have not, but
so there's this story. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've seen it in more than one place. But legend goes.
Okay.
So Henry Ford has 2 new hires that he's hiring. He takes them out to dinner, but he hasn't hired one. Right, one of them's going to get the job, and they sit down for dinner, and their food comes. And one of the interns, without tasting their food or anything, immediately goes straight for the salt shaker and puts salt in his food. The other intern tastes his food, decides that it needs salt, and then adds salt to his food. Okay. And Henry Ford went with the latter, right? He went with the individual that tasted their food first and then added seasoning. And the justification was I don't want somebody who's like doing prejudice on the work, right? You're assuming things.
You don't want someone who's assuming everything,
right? You don't want someone who's assuming. But it's an interesting scenario where usually during interviews, like you don't always have a relaxed setting to kind of see how people behave, right? So that's you get a different look at people more authentically than you would when the guards are up because you're in an interview.
Because you're at a career fair or something, and
right.
you're between jobs, and so you have a little bit of desperation, maybe a lot of desperation.
Yeah, but even at my event, we had a couple people that we like sponsored to come. Or I guess scholarship, if you will, to come, and there was a couple of people that were like, talking to prospective possibilities there.
Yeah. So well, this unfortunately, the end of 2025 here, we're seeing more and more companies laying people off, and so when this video comes out, will be the last day of AWS reInvent. I think either that or it's the Friday before AWS reInvent. I think it is the Friday. So AWS reInvent will probably be going on when people are watching this video.
Nice.
Which is probably one of the largest conferences I've ever been to. And
bigger than SEMA, because SEMA looked pretty big.
It was square footage wise, no, it's not as big as SEMA. For session wise, it blows SEMA out of the water, because there's just so many sessions, and they're taking up the majority of the conference spaces throughout the entire Vegas Strip. So you have a session in Mandalay Bay, and then the next one you have is up in the Wynn.
That's a big spread.
Oh, it is. And they got shuttle buses for you, but the shuttle buses take anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes to get from one location to the next. So it's very hard to pack your sessions unless you decide you're only going to take sessions like at
one hotel
or at
are you going to AWS this year?
I am not. So I have decided that I am conferenced out for this year. I am attending CES in January. So it's really only a month away now, maybe 6 weeks away from CES. I do plan on attending that. Not directly related to DevOps, but there's a lot of my customers that present at CES. Mainly consumer electronics. Well, that's what it stands for. But so we got a number of my customers that will have people there. Sometimes the project engineers are there to showcase the new thing that they're promoting at
I remember.
But it's usually marketing and sales.
Yeah. I remember like 6 or 7 years ago, Under Armour was at CES, and they had like this really cool like bodysuit that would regulate your temperature and all that. And I actually went and invested into Under Armour stock, and then Under Armour hasn't done anything in the last 6 or 7 years.
So you can probably still attend CES with me if you wanted to. But,
I know you keep telling me, and Josh wants me to go to Vegas in February as well, and so I'm like, I might as well just move to Vegas.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I owned a house in Vegas for a while, and I sold it. It's I decided it's not the place I want to be. But
for me, it's a 3.5 hour drive, right? It's
so why buy a place in Vegas?
Yeah, to save 13% income tax.
Oh, okay. Oh, completely relocate to Vegas. Yeah. I don't know what the savings would be for me from Colorado, but I owned a place there for a number of years and then sold it when the market went crazy. But we're up to what, number 2?
We're still number 2, and I'm trying to figure out if there's like a reason why you wouldn't want to go from a career perspective. And I would assume the only thing I can think of is like your employees could get poached. So maybe as an employer, you might not want to send your best employees. I've actually have witnessed that. Well, I used to work at Boeing.
I've been a victim of that, where I've had employees poached that gave a session, and basically the new employer walked right up on stage after they gave their session and offered her a job right there.
Yeah, no, I was at Boeing, and one time, like, I think there was the RTC back in the when IBM came out with RTC or whatever they called it. You
Yeah,
probably
that's
know
what they
better.
called it.
Yeah.
That's what they called it.
Boeing used to be a huge ClearCase shop.
Mhm.
And so they would always send people to the IBM ClearCase ClearQuest RTC conference. And one of the head honchos, like one of like our best ClearCase or ClearQuest guys, he came back and he's like, deuces, 2 weeks later, like, I'm out. I got a job at IBM.
Yeah. No, so I've been on both sides of that. I have hired people directly from the conferences, and it was the big IBM conference. That used to be the main conference I'd go to. It started in around '94 as a Atria conference, and then as that company got bought by other companies and eventually ended up at IBM, it merged with a number of other conferences, and I attended all of them. But that was the big conference I would attend every year, and a number of my employees over the years were because of I met them at the conference, and
Nice.
I offered them jobs. But I've lost almost as many the same way. That I used to bring a lot of consultants to conferences with me. I still do. Yeah, and then they get offered jobs by other partners or maybe the conference, company itself.
Yep.
It happens.
Definitely. All right. Reason number 3 is you get fast-track opportunities to learn and enhance your skills, specifically with certifications.
Mhm.
So Microsoft conferences that I've been to, Atlassian conferences that I've been to, they usually either have some sort of a boot camp program where you can get ready for their certifications real quickly, or you can take the certifications on site for a significantly discounted price.
Yeah, either free or discounted. Yeah. I've seen that with the majority of the conferences that I have attended. If the vendor has certifications, they're usually offered at a very discounted rate at the conference, usually with a training session before it.
Right. So yeah, if you're looking to, pull the Band-Aid on taking that certification, but you don't want to do it alone, or you're not really sure, or any number of reasons or excuses as to why not to do it, like conferences is the best way to go do it. And that in itself is worth a lot, right? Just being able to come back home with the certification in hand or two. Or in my case, I came home.
I don't know if this counts as number 4, but also talking with the engineers for the particular project, or at least the support people. So like if you go to the IBM conferences or even the Atlassian or the JFrog conference, the product engineers are there, and they're usually chained to some booth near the expo hall, and you can go right up to them and ask them a tough question. It's like, I can't get Jira to do XYZ. What's your problem?
Yeah, that is definitely number 4. You have direct access to the experts.
Okay.
of direct learn faster through direct interaction, right? Get unstuck on technical problems, ask very specific and targeted questions. And so that is a huge. I took advantage of that in Barcelona. I had a little piece of paper in my backpack. I went to the assets booth, and I'm like, hold up, guys. And I pull up my backpack and I'm like, let me grab my thing real quick. And I'm like, it's like all messed up because I throw my laptop and everything. And I'm like stretching it out, like when you flatten out a $20 bill or something. And I'm like, how does this work? And they're like, let me see that. So I actually gave them my notes, and they're like, I see what you're trying to do. And then right there, 30 seconds later, I'm walking away with like hours of saved Google searches.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when the technology is new, it's not that well documented. So having the person that came up with the information or the product, it's very handy because they definitely know inside information that isn't on Google yet.
Yeah, it's either not well documented or not documented at all yet.
Right. And so it's really hard to Google, and other people are probably having the same problem, but nobody's answering the question because nobody knows the answer. So conference is the only place where you can like literally walk up. It's almost like being able to walk into a company and like walk right to the engineer's desk.
Yeah. Well, it's like that story, and I can't remember which company it is, but someone was so frustrated with a feature not working at some large company that they actually interviewed, got hired in that department, fixed the feature, and then quit. So
There's a story.
That's a good story. I left out all the details because I don't remember any of them. But it sounds like something someone would do to like Google or Microsoft or something like that.
Yeah. All right. And reason number 5, as we start closing out this episode here, and I think you're probably the epitome of this, is you start becoming a brand, right? You start becoming the person that shows up, that's at every year's conference. You start becoming a regular, and people get to know you, right? People want to see you. They see you at one conference, and they see you at the next one, and they see you at the one after that. And it's like a whole like a virtual / physical caravan of conferences.
Yeah, and you miss one conference, and everyone's like, "Why didn't you go to that one?" And did my video freeze up for a second?
It froze up for a second, but you're good.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's there's been times where I've had to skip a year. And I've never skipped an Atlassian or a JFrog one. And like I've been to all but the first JFrog conference, and they recognize that. And
yeah, I mean the executive, like what was that lady, that chief product officer or whatever?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's her title, but
whatever. But one of the C-suite people, she's like, Sean, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah. So I think that was top
revenue. I think she was a CRO. She's a chief revenue officer.
CRO. Yeah. So
even people
it feels good to get that recognition after all the years of going to the conference.
I mean, even the CEO, right? The CEO knows you by name, and you may or may not know the CEO more intimately as well.
Yeah. And the same holds true for like the Atlassian conference to a slightly different extent, but yeah, a lot of
people. Mike's always gonna know me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you fit right in after only a couple years. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So I really don't want to go to the team Anaheim in 2026, and my team, their first question, they're like, "What are we gonna tell people?" Because that's gonna be the big question.
Oh.
And I'm like, that I'm mad at Atlassian. What else are you going to tell them?
Well, it's a love-hate relationship with vendors. They're never going to do everything that you would want as a customer or a partner. But yeah, it's I don't necessarily dislike or have any bad feelings for any of my business partners, but there's things that I wish that they would have addressed already, or some of the directions that they take are ones that I have a hard time fitting in with my business model, and those are things that you can bring up at conferences because it's a face-to-face interaction instead of yelling at each other over email or Slack or something.
Yeah, and in no particular order, just to wrap us up, a couple of reasons to not attend. They can be expensive, right? So sometimes there's no travel budget. Sometimes you have to pay out of pocket. So depending on the conference, like team early bird is like $600, $800, something like that. But it shoots up to $2,000 almost.
Yeah. Like the AWS reInvent, I believe full price is like almost $3,000.
Yeah, same thing with like Microsoft's, the Ignite ones. It's up in the $3,000-$4,000 range. Right, so they can get pricey. So if you're not getting funded or sponsored to go to the conference by your company, it could be a pretty steep thing. Which is why I love these like cheaper alternatives. Like JFrog was what, like $100, $200, something like that.
I think full price without early bird, it was around $500.
Right, but early bird right now is like what, $83?
Something like that. Early bird plus alumni gets discounts. Another consideration is if your company's not sponsoring your time, do you need to burn your PTO?
That was going to be the big one that I was going to bring up, right? So if you're not paid to go, then you are going to either miss out on, like, you're going to be backed up on work because
there's some sort of opportunity cost that you're creating by going to this conference if it's not sponsored by your employer.
Well, even if it is, right? I've gone in my out of office message, and when I come back to an inbox of 400 or 500 emails.
yeah, there's that too. There's an opportunity cost, and then there's a what would you call that?
A work cost?
A penalty for on the next week because you now have to catch up for a weekend.
Or unless you're Sean and you just roll over from conference to conference to conference, and it's like next month's problem.
Yeah, there have been years where I've had a conference almost every month of the year, and sometimes multiple conferences in a month. I haven't had a year like that in a while, probably not since pre-pandemic times. But yeah, it's slowly approaching that. If I hadn't decided not to go to AWS reInvent, I would have been to like 6 events just this fall.
I know, right? So just in September.
That's too many events. Now, some of them are very strategic. There was a Atlassian partner event that happened last week or the week before in Austin that I sent people to, but I really wanted to attend myself. But it was just too close to. I think it actually was the week right after.
It was before me and after Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, there you have it, folks. 5 reasons to attend and a few to not attend. We stay to our numbers. See, look at that title.
Yeah. So, release team, DevOps tool specialists. We provide professional services and software reselling around the leading software DevOps tools like Atlassian, GitLab, GitHub, JFrog, and others. To talk with us about DevOps, here's our contact information. Please call 866-887-0489 or via email at info@releaseteam.com.
See, look at that title.
Yeah.
Meet the clickbait.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Make sure you hit that subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Add a comment if you've been. Tell us how many conferences you've been to this year. Let us know in the comment section.
And which conferences you'd like to go to, and we might have been there and have an opinion.
Yeah. All right, folks. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.